Well, hello there, friendos. How are we doing today? Hopefully, you're doing absolutely peachy keen, fantastic, well, bloody, awesome, great. God loves you. Bye. Hopefully, you're doing really great today. I'm going to start a new series here where I play Elden Ring and talk about scripture and talk about religious stuff. And you may be saying, "But Kat, don't you already do that?" And well, kinda. See, this is going to have more like I'm kind of going through the Upanishads and going through Vajrayana and going through these various different teachings, and I kind of want to string them together to make like a whole series as I actually play through the game, not just run around doing random things. At least that's kind of what my thought is, and I thought it would be nice to do this with a new character. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about how I think it's very important to do some looking into who we are and like what we are actually composed of, and like uh self-inquiry really. And I think it's very important to oh by the way, I got myself a stone sword key, so I can try and get this talisman that's in here before I go out and do other things. We'll see if that's a wise idea here fairly shortly, but it's fine. It's fine. Is it still going up? It is. Well, that's not good. Oh well. Thought I would have been poisoned either way there. Anyway. So, I was going to start... Oh, that's a little close. I was going to start today with the Chandogya Upanishad because I think it has a very good little lesson in there for those of us interested in self-inquiry and interested in trying to figure out, who are we really? What is the goal of life, and what are we all doing here? Hey, and I'll read that here shortly. But in case you're unaware, basically the idea behind Advaita Vedanta is that we are Brahman, right? Like we are, I just realized I think I messed this up actually, and I might have to go back and do this again anyway. Yeah, I might. But basically the idea is that we are Brahman, right? It's like the key thing. And Brahman, if you're not aware, is basically the universal principle. Brahman is what makes up everything. Brahman is God, essentially. Some people would dispute the idea of calling Brahman God, I suppose. But Brahman is basically, I would say, it's fair enough to call Brahman. Let's see if I can do it with this. I don't think I can. No, I cannot. Oh, okay. Whatever. That's fine anyway. So I forgot I kind of need a bow to go through here the way I want to. So we'll go around. But Brahman is basically, Brahman makes up everything. Brahman is the unifier of all existence. Everything is made of Brahman, and Brahman is like your soul. Like your soul is Brahman. You are Brahman. Everything is Brahman. Of course, we don't necessarily recognize ourselves as that because the idea behind Brahman is that Brahman is eternal and things like that. And we get, because of delusion and Maya, we think that we are just these like fleshy flesh bodies doing fleshy flesh things. We're like, wow, look at all the fleshy flesh, 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 flesh. But we're actually much more than that. But to kind of demonstrate some of the ideas behind this, and I'm going to go through a little bit of the Chandogya Upanishad here, some of the ideas here, and I think that these are important for our self-inquiry. And just to let you know, I'm just reading off of the Wikipedia for Tattvamasi. I have several copies of the Upanishads, several translations of the Upanishads, but this is easier for right now to just read through this, and it's mostly correct. And I did check; it is mostly in line with the other translations I have, so I think it's fine. Um, so the Chandogya Upanishad is basically a dialogue between Udalaka and his son Svetaketu. Basically, Svetaketu went away, he got educated, and he's come back and he's kind of haughty. He's kind of like, ah, yes, I'm big and I've learned a bunch of stuff now. So we're going to start here in the Chandogya Upanishad. We're skipping ahead a little bit because I don't think we really need to spend too much time on the setup. In the beginning, Sun, this is Udalaka talking. In the beginning, Sun, this world was simply what is existent, one only, without a second. And it thought to itself, let me become many. Let me propagate myself. It cannot be without a root. Look to the existent as the root. The existent, my son, is the root of all these creatures. The existent is their resting place. The existent is their foundation. The finest essence here. That constitutes the self of the whole world. That is the truth. That is the self. Atman. That's how you are, Svetaketu. And then a little bit later on, bring a banyan fruit. Udalaka is saying this to Svetaketu. And Svetaketu says, here it is, sir. Cut it up. I've cut it up, sir. What do you see here? These quite tiny seeds, sir. Now take one of them and cut it up. I've cut it up, sir. What do you see there? Nothing, sir. Then he told him, the finest essence here, son, that you can't even see. Look how, on account of that finest essence, this huge banyan tree stands here. Believe, my son, the finest essence here, that constitutes the self of this whole world, that is the truth, that is the self, Atman. That's how you are, Svetaketu. And the way this is translated is Tat-Tvamasi. Tat-Tvamasi literally just means that thou art. You are the ultimate essence. You are consciousness bliss. You are the... Okay, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to try and kill this guy to get some souls so I can get a bow. I'm pretty sure that guy down there can give me a bow. I think. But we'll see. This man is bad anyway, so I'm going to attack him. Oh, that's right, I forgot he does a bunch of blood loss stuff. Is it? I don't believe it is. Don't heal. That's rude. But, what he's trying to tell Svetaketu here is that he is, in essence, the real him. The thing that is what you are. The thing that connects all of reality is not this individual body. It is this finest essence here. The reason he tells him to cut up the seed of the banyan tree is because the seed of the banyan tree is very, very small, and he's saying that even though you can't see anything from it, you got to think like what's inside this seed. Even as you cut it up, you can't see anything there. That is the finest of all essence. That is like the real. I don't care. That is the real like substance of reality. That is the real fine grain of reality, right? Like reality is made up of this thing that you cannot see, but it connects all of us together, and you are that. And this is kind of interesting because if you stop and like think about like Buddhism, what is Buddhism? What is one of the very first things that it espouses? It espouses that you are not the five senses. You are not smell, taste, touch, or any of that stuff. You're not the mind. You're none of these things. Now in Buddhism, what they would say is that there is no self, but I would argue that there is in fact a self, and that this self is a bit difficult to understand at first. But what you realize is that in every experience, there is consciousness. There is you are conscious, and you have to be conscious to be having an experience. Even in deep sleep, what is conscious, is still an experience. And it's kind of interesting the way they compare this to waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Uh, in the waking state, you are only aware because of the consciousness. You are the observer. And in deep sleep, same thing. Or I'm sorry, in dreaming, it's the same thing. And in deep sleep, because there is nothing for the consciousness to be aware of, that's why there's nothing happening there. It's very interesting to think about. But basically, the idea in Advaita is that you are basically the essence of reality. The real you is consciousness bliss. The real you is that consciousness which observes the things happening to the body. It is not the body itself. And this is important because the real you is, what you're always looking for. You know, Everybody talks about like how they want satisfaction, they want all these various different things in life. But if you pay attention, you'll know that like simply seeking after material gains does not get you true happiness and bliss. It gives you temporary happiness, and that there is always more, and that you are always craving more. And, it's the hedonic treadmill, and that the real essence of what you need and what you want is actually inside of yourself. It is You are that. You are the essence of everything. You are consciousness bliss. You are the thing that you seek so stridently after. And even if you don't think you're seeking, you're still seeking in a way. Because there is no end to the hedonic treadmill. There's no end to this cycle of like searching and things that, except for the one true end, which is simply discovering yourself, discovering your true self. Now, of course, the Buddhists would say something different. They would say that, the end is going to nirvana. And we could get into that. There's been centuries and centuries of debates between the Buddhists and the Hindus and all that. Although I would argue, and I'm going to probably release it, I think I've released a video already, this probably earlier in the week than this, talking about how the real there isn't as much of a difference between emptiness and fullness as we might think on the surface. There's a little bit of a difference, but I would argue that it's not as stringent, and they actually connect to each other more than a lot of folks would think. All right, let's go in here. Oh, I should have switched to the... it's fine. It's fine. Hey, how you doing? Well, that wasn't a great start. Yeah, whoop whoop to you too, sir. Yep, I'm gonna need to heal. Go ahead and swing. Ooh, as he does. Now, the thing that's interesting about this is that once one compounds us with the idea of emptiness, what this really tells you is that all things are this. Once you understand that all things truly are Brahman, then you understand that all things are interconnected. Even this guy I am fighting right now, he is also part of Brahman. He is a part of God. He's a part of the Lord in all of his manifest glory. I keep doing that, I'm silly. Oop. There we go. Cool. Now I have some souls. Or runes, whatever. Um, and that's a very important thing to understand in our first step. Now, of course, if you might think about this and just go, well, I don't know, Kat. I kind of understand what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm not 100% sure I agree. And it can be kind of difficult. You do have to take this idea on a little bit of faith, and there is like a logic to the idea and things like that. And I am going to go over a little bit of the logic here shortly. But it is also a bit complicated. You do have to have a little bit of faith to understand some of the implications. But consciousness is the basis of all existence. And we can get into emptiness and the idea, and I'll explain it here in case some people didn't watch the other video. Basically, the idea of emptiness is that everything is interconnected and interdependent. Nothing exists by itself, and everything is essentially empty of a self nature. Everything is empty of a nature that makes it just a tree or things like that. It is all of the parts coming together. All things are a conglomeration, and all of existence, if you stop and think about it, is actually a conglomeration of everything kind of going together. Yep. And then this lady's going to come by and she's going to give me an accord. I have not heard of the Finger Maidens. I don't want to know about your weird fingers. Just give me a horse, please.
Then it said summon me. I bequeath.
Thank you.
Use it. It will sound torrent. Treat him with...
I will treat him with respect. Thank you. Thank you for giving me horse. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get... Yeah, I understand. And now we're going to go here. Because I want to get a cutscene. Look.
May I have
A lady.
a pleasure to me. I am the witch. I'd heard tell of it, and upon looking into the matter, the talk I so art possessed to the call forth as... as I was entrusted this for thy torrent's form. 'Tis about summon them where the spirits will obey thine command but briefly. Now it is thine. Forgive mine I doubt we shall again. How long will it be before the tarnish?
Yeah. Fingers. Fingers is weird, man. I understand. Who wouldn't want to listen to a bunch of weird fingers talk about their insatiable lust for being fingers? But yeah. Oops, no, I don't want to do that. I want to allocate. Yes, allocate. Okay. Now our next step to continue our quest in game.
But I can also see that you're not. Then why not? I am Carly.
Pretty sure this guy doesn't. Oh, he does have some arrows though, so I'll buy a few arrows.
Goodbye.
Yes, indeed, it is nice to do business, sir. Swoop. So. But basically the idea is that everything is interconnected and interdependent. And depending on how you look at it, I would say that you can see that everything is, in essence, one in that case, as there is no true separation. But not just that, there's also, some people would say that everything is just empty and that, like, everything is still one, but it's like a different perspective. It is pretty interesting to get into if you ever feel like trying to understand, I would suggest looking into emptiness. I might post a couple of links. Oop. Well, this might not go well for me. Oh, that's fine. I'm hitting my horse. I'm bad at troll slaying. Then you gotta go around to his front. So you can do... Oh, come on. This! Haha! Wah! There we go. That's a little bit better. That was not the greatest troll slaying I've ever seen, but hey, it'll do. And there's like a lot of, it's very interesting if you ever like take time to look into like the disagreements between Buddhists and Hindus over, and by the way, just some people are probably like, well, why do you keep using the term Hindu if it's not like, it's not actually a native term. The term Hindu actually comes from the British. However, I would argue that it's a fine term these days to include because over time, the various traditions that we would consider Hinduism, although they were originally kind of like separate traditions, have over time kind of morphed into more or less a conglomeration or a tradition.
I don't want any trouble.
I won't give you any trouble, bud. I just want to buy this. And then a few more arrows, why not? And these. A club? I don't need a club. Thanks. I will be on my way. You silly Billy. Alright. Now we're going to go back and get that talisman I was talking about earlier. But you can see a lot of like disagreements. Because like one of the biggest disagreements between hopefully I can do this in one shot, since I only have one of these. But one of the biggest disagreements is the idea of like Buddhism is kind of founded on the idea of no self, or the idea that there is not like really a self, especially like Mahayana and Vajrayana. Those two especially get into a lot of concepts like emptiness and things like that. Ooh, some souls. Or runes. Same thing, really. Oh, it's not coming down this way yet. In that case, let's grab some of this. Oop. Oop, oop. You think you're gonna attack me? Oh, there it goes down. But one of the big, yeah, there's a big disagreement between Hinduism and Buddhism about the concept of self and like what does it mean? Is there a self? There is some stuff in early Buddhist writing to kind of hint at the idea that the Buddha did not truly teach that there is a self, that there is not a self, and it gets kind of complicated with like some of the ideas involved there. Okay, so what we need to do here, see this? With a bow, you can just kind of disable it. Isn't that cool? And there's going to be a dude here to the side. There, taken care of. And you can find a lot of different things that are like arguments about like what is the nature of the self? Is there a self and things like that? You can find a lot of these in I guess I'll see how much damage does this do. Okay, that's kind of funny. I didn't know it would just hit him in the head over and over again. Okay, that's funny. Okay, here, I'll just end you, bud. I'm sorry, that was rude, wasn't it? Oh, that a bunch of feathers just fall out? I guess they weren't feathers, I guess they were stone. Let's see. Come on back and get... but like through... Whoa, whoa, whoa! What was that? What the heck was that? I was blocking! What the heck happened there? Oh, great. Do I still have arrows? Okay, yeah, I still have arrows. What the heck happened there? I guess it's not that big of a deal. That's a little weird. Oh well. Um, but yeah, it's also very interesting because there's so much debate and there are so many great books. You know, talking about like this period in history and like all the different debates that people came up with, and there's some really good books out there too, like progressive stages on the or progressive meditation on the stages of emptiness, I think is what it is. And if you go through and read that, which I would highly recommend, I think it's very good, especially if you're interested in these sorts of subjects. So I'll make sure. Is it? Okay, yeah, it is starting to come this way. I probably could have gone down there already, but it's fine. Should no. Um, that Thou Art is a great book that compiles a lot of the notes of Shankaracharya. And that's pretty cool if you're interested in learning more about like um, ancient Hindu thought. I think it can really. I just want to see. Did this go up again? Oh, it did. That could have been a bad time to lag. Don't know why it went up again. But that's what I see. Can I just? I probably shouldn't use all these arrows just in case he does manage to kill me again. Because that would be bad. Because then I have to go get more arrows. That heal does not feel that urgent. But, it's fine. Anyway. Now, you might be asking yourself, Kat, why would you adhere to this particular viewpoint? The viewpoint that everything is Brahmin and all this other stuff. And it's kind of interesting. I would say that a lot of it, at least for me personally, comes down to just experiences I've had. Oh, gosh dang it. Now I just have to survive for 2 seconds so I can do that. And then I can do this. And now I am going to attempt to get by this gentleman. And we have to try and get by this gentleman. And hey, that worked. Sometimes it works. Trust the process when it's me doing the process. I should probably just... I think, do I even have a thing to teleport me anywhere back? I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't have anything to use for just teleporting me back, so, well, that's fine. But you can see that there is another little drop-off right here, so. Drop down here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to equip my first talisman. Right now I only have slot for one, but this one is good because it raises max HP, stamina, and equip blood. So for starting out, You can see there it wasn't actually that difficult to get to. Oh, well, he killed me. It's fine. But that's fine, because I need to go back up anyway. And it's only 800 souls, so I'm not that concerned with it. But yes, for me, a lot of it comes down to experience. I had several very powerful religious experiences that led me to really decide that it... Actually, no, why am I doing this instead of just doing this? That led to me deciding that it was a good idea to investigate Hinduism in particular, but also just various religious traditions. And the more I meditated and the more I had these experiences, I realized how much sense I thought Hinduism, the idea that we are all one reality made. I am sometimes rather reluctant to call myself a Hindu for no other reason than I think that that's kind of in and of itself is a little bit nebulous, and I don't subscribe to rather large portions of what we would probably consider Hinduism. I don't really subscribe to a lot of ideas that are present within the wider Hindu tradition. I think that, for instance, like ideas like purity are kind of silly. Now you could say that that lines up with like agories and things like that, but yeah. Anyway, to kind of keep on subject before I just start babbling about a billion other things. So the idea of the Chandogya Upanishad and the Upanishads in general is that you are that one reality. You are Brahman. You are the real you, the consciousness that is within you, is the fountainhead of all reality, really, and that's kind of what the important stage there is. And it's kind of what you should think about when you think about what does it mean, who am I, you know, that sort of thing. Hey, I'm busy. Yeah, later, Wolf. Before I really play or really just go through this game, I'm actually just gonna go through and collect various things, get map pieces and things like that. I'm not going straight forward through. We're gonna take a little shortcut around here, and we're gonna basically I'm gonna run around and get stuff for my flask, and I'm gonna get stuff to upgrade it and all those fun things. Hello. And I think it's important to read the Upanishads for yourself, and really try to understand like what's going on and why you're being told, you know, that you are all these things. And like there's a lot of questions that come up with that. Like sometimes it just makes an intrinsic sense to somebody. Sometimes I have met people who will like hear this and they'll just immediately go for it and understand it, and then other people are like really, really skeptical about it, and you really have to sit down there and like really talk them through it. But the idea is always the same, and the thing that's also very interesting to me is that I think, excuse me, I probably shouldn't even hit them, but well, you know, whatever, doesn't matter. Excuse me. Yeah, Wolf, how are you doing? You see, we're already at Liurnia Lakes. This is usually the path I take, or one of the paths I take, because it's easy to get, pretty much right up to where you need to go. And the thing is, what you're looking for just to get the, else stuff is you're looking for these churches. I might just go through and do this once I end this video and just go through and grab all the various different sacred tiers and things by myself. Oh, this guy wants a donation of 10 runes. I'll do that. Hello.
Then, believe it or for a
Every time I see this guy, I think of Plague of Gripes.
my name, presuming you're holy.
Thank you. Enjoy your runes. And there's also a lot of implications behind this. Like, for instance, if we are all connected, would it make more sense to take care of each other? Why are we trying to harm each other? Why are we trying to do this and that? And I also think that if your real essence is that inner consciousness, that, you know, what we might call a soul, wouldn't it make more sense to do things to take care of that soul? So, you know, like, do things that don't burden it, like try to behave wisely and things like that, so that you can have like the pleasure that comes with having a soul, and do the things that, like, the pleasures that not only come with having a soul, but like that come from like keeping yourself guided rightly and doing the right things, you know. I don't know if there's anything I need from this guy. I'm gonna say probably not.
You found no matter why don't.
Okay, let's just see. Okay, you do have some stuff I want later, but for right now. For right now, it's a no from me, dog. And it's also interesting because once you get this thought into your head, you realize that... Hey, excuse me. Just want that. Oh, well. That's fine. We're just running through anyway. I probably should have just slashed at him and got him to move away from it, but it's okay. No harm, no foul, really. But yeah. I think that's a good place to start. And I'm just gonna run through now and go get all the different thingies. Maybe at some point I'll make a separate video just showing how you can just get pretty much through the entire map without really having to fight any bosses. Just so you can use it later. But anyway, for now, I hope you enjoyed me babbling about Upanishads and other things like that, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day. And I hope you all know that I love you, and that God loves you, and that you should all have a great one. And if you enjoy this, I will put out some more. Next one, I will have some more notes, I think. Anyway, have a great one. Bye. Love you. Bye. God loves you. Bye.